And a wonderful morning to you. A jolly good morning, actually. And this is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, broadcasting on TV1. As always, a proud member of the Capital Maharaj Group. Now then, I did say jolly good morning, and it's jolly because I'm joined this morning by my friend, Bandula Jayasekara. Very good morning, Bandula.
Good morning for us.
I don't have to call you Mr. Jayasekara, do I?
We don't believe in Mr. and all these things.
That's right. Good. Now then, what on earth's happening? Petroleum unions to meet the president today. Police chief rushes to Jaffna following attacks. So the police are under attack there. The train strike from tonight. The CB assistant governor tells the Bond Commission, Mahendran threatened me to attach Saman Kumara to the EPF front office. In the meantime, the Diana confessions in Britain are set to go on air. But back in Sri Lanka, what's happening?
Chaos.
Chaos, isn't it?
And anarchists will like it.
They'll like it. And, you know, we've got a little trailer to play. Shall we play that? Go on then.
Teams. Let's send them packing. A Sri Lanka that stands against corruption. Join the national movement from the 1st of August.
Are you joining the movement?
Definitely. Good idea.
I'm joining
Today's
as well.
1st of August.
I'm joining as well. It's the only thing that we can do, isn't it? Isn't it awful? Now then, the Secretary General of the United National Party, Mr. Kabir Hashim, Cabinet Minister, sometimes blamed by Ravi K. Certainly their relationship has been a little bit, shall we say, tempestuous. But what does it say in the Lanka Deepa?
No, in Lakbima he says that the UNP will stand by him. If there is if the joint opposition brings a no confidence motion against him.
Yeah.
But he said if they don't have evidence, without evidence. Yeah. This is what Kabir says.
Right. So I suppose what is being coming out at the Presidential Commission inquiry, that's what is that? Then some sort of fairy tale, is it?
Looks like, but the whole world is talking about it. The whole world is talking about it.
But I know there's two sides to the story, but it certainly appears on the face of it, there's no two words about it. Anika Vijayasuriya was a very meticulous witness, and she had documentation, didn't she? Photocopies of checks and the details, and then Arjun had asked her to destroy the lease agreement, to which she refused. So that's a conflict of interest. After all, Mr. Loshes wasn't in the business of selling dry fish and fresh fish. He was in the finance business.
He's in the business of forgetting
alcohol.
He's in the business of forgetting passwords.
That's right.
That's what the newspapers say. He's forgotten his password.
All these, and then he pays as a person from that industry, finance industry, alcohol industry, the Minister of Finance is very much involved in the decisions he makes can impact on the businesses that young Aloysius was in or is in. And then he goes and pays the rent. Not on, is it?
I think it's very clear enough. I don't think,
Mr. Hashim is just playing to the gallery.
Looks like, but I don't think the gallery would accept what he says.
No, they won't. They'll soon find out. Isn't that why we continuously urge people to the March the 12th declaration? Think before you vote.
And think again and again.
And again and again and again and again. It's a bit like that Zanussi ad. It says the washing machine goes on and on and on. But isn't that very, very essential?
Yeah, definitely. I think people are fed up. Like I said, it's chaos. It's anarchy.
What will happen politically? Here you have a national government, right? That came in this national unity government. Now the SLFP people, they're saying, hang on, this Ravi's business is causing us no end of negativity. Sort it out.
But for us, I never saw it at a national government or national unity government. They all wanted power. Yeah. They want to keep power to themselves. That is what they did. I never saw it.
So they got rid of Mahinda Rajapaksa so that they can enjoy the benefits that he was.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I mean, let's remember. I mean, or we go back to what Assad Saleh said. Okay, previous government they sat and robbed.
Yeah.
Now the present government they are running and robbing.
They're running and robbing.
This is what he said, which is true.
Do you think Azad is a good? Do you think he's described it spot on?
Very much, which is the truth. So you come on a platform, okay, there is no corruption, we will be honest, but it hasn't happened. And then I take also the case of now the foreign ministry.
Oh yes.
Now there is a wonderful diplomat, a career diplomat, Asala Veerakoon.
Yeah.
Who is the foreign secretary who wanted to move out.
Yeah.
Why did he want to move out? I mean, I haven't been able to contact Asala, but how come the new foreign minister, Ravi Karunanayake, wants a chief of staff, paid 250,000 salary? Only the president and the prime minister can have a chief of staff.
And the president has turned him down.
He turned him down. And then Asala moves out. He's a wonderful human being, a good diplomat.
Yeah.
Right? He was wrong then, he was wrong now. Then he opts out and goes to another ministry. And then...
So all the good are getting fed up.
Yeah, definitely. And then Ravi wanted Rodney Pereira, who's our ambassador in Brussels, as the foreign secretary.
Yeah.
The president says no.
Right.
And brings Prasad Karyavasam, who's our ambassador in Washington.
But he's not sort of liked by our dear Prime Minister, though, is he?
Yeah, this is what we have heard. But he's a wonderful diplomat, straight talking.
I wonder if
career diplomat.
Do you think when he was in Sri Lanka, back from the US, do you think the Prime Minister met him?
I was told he refused to meet him.
Oh.
But Prasad is a no-nonsense, straightforward, straight-talking diplomat. And I'm glad, he's a very senior diplomat.
But the Prime Minister always has times to meet all these various troops, I have to call them, troops of Indian people who come along.
But for us, you said it, troops.
Yeah, they're troops. I can't describe it, but he seems to have lots of time for them.
Yeah, but also I feel now having Prasad as the foreign secretary, I mean the president is taking control. Don't you think so?
I believe so, and it's about time really that the president does this, because he is all the negativity is coming and landing on his head.
Yeah, but also, I mean, people may not agree with me, but lots of people are telling me that there are 4 presidents or 4 leaders in this country.
And they are?
There is President Sirisena,
former
President Kumaratunga, then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. You can't have 4 of them.
A previous president, a real president with a mandate.
2 previous presidents.
2 previous. And both sort of yearning for power, right, and influence, and maybe to help their extended family and friends, the Ronnies of this world and all that sort of thing. But then you have one chap who's aspiring to be president.
Yes, you can't have...
How can he aspire? Because after all, if it was in any other country in the world, democracy, where democracy is the government, do you think the Prime Minister could have weathered this Bond Gate storm?
Faraz, in your words, I will tell you, people who suffer from Asperger's syndrome can aspire.
Ah, you got it now. Asperger's syndrome. They've actually changed the name now to something else, but it's the same thing. Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah, so people, you can't stop people from aspiring, but then you should have one leader. It is easy, because it's complicated now.
No, let's look at the scenario, the political scenario. The SLFP obviously, they sense a bit of, they sense that the UNP is on the back foot with Ravi and all that business. The astounding thing about this is that nobody said anything about Ravi and the bond. It just manifested that Ravi has apparently benefited, please lawyers, get the word, apparently benefited, because some chap, a company connected to Mr. Aloysius, paid the rent on an apartment that the family were forced to live in whilst their house was being refurbished. And then they liked it so much, probably, that they ordered it to be bought. And then when they were told that there wasn't enough money, at that company, they said, oh, use the money in the chairman's safe. It's a lot. I mean, I was supposed to get the dimensions of the safe to hold 145 million in sort of, let's say, new 5,000 rupee notes. It's a big safe. It's a big safe. And the point is the Minister of Finance. One of his connected companies, let's call it that, or a company in which he was a director at one point or another, is holding on to cash. This is, and then he complains that people aren't paying taxes.
You can't blame the poor man because the banks didn't come under him.
That's why he wasn't sure to bank it.
So he kept the money.
And it's like, but then he's the Minister of Finance, best Minister of Finance in Asia.
The best former Minister of Finance.
Well, it's all very bad, isn't it? It's.
But also for us, I must tell you something. Yeah. Now, okay, this has come out, this Ravi's thing.
Yeah.
This, like you said, compelling evidence.
Yeah.
But look at all this. Now, there are so many ministers, so many politicians who's gifted with so many things. Can we look at them? Can we find out? And also, when they will say their children's graduation, right? I know this for a fact that overseas they have some official visit to make, be it Washington or London. They use people's money and they go and attend their children's graduation. Can we find out all these things? Most of these people, okay, Ravi's thing has come out. Look at what others have been up to. Everybody, all these politicians. People should investigate what are the gifts. Now, I know, now take the Prime Minister of Australia. When he is gifted something on a state visit, he has to go and hand it over. He has to go and hand it over, and there is a museum. They cannot accept. Former Premier of New South Wales, Barry Farrell, he couldn't declare a $5,000 bottle of wine, and he resigned.
Over a bottle of wine?
Bottle of wine, he resigned. People do, but here, houses, penthouses, cars, whatnot, rent, and they don't. So this is what happened. Most of these people are corrupt. What gifts they take, how many, we don't know how much are like they transfer the money to which bank accounts.
What did President Rajapaksa do with all these gifts he got? He must have got loads of gifts.
Yeah, I'm sure all the presidents, that's a good point. We should check what they should, I think some we have heard there, even I'm talking of the former president, they should give to the museum.
Do you think Chandrika's Patek Philippe, referred to in that book,
by Victor Ivan,
do you think that was a gift, or that was part of the Bandunaik, the Ratwat Boodale?
That I'm not sure. We should go back to Balangod and check that. But I think that's a good investigation. They should be accountable. They should act
Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
You never own a Patek Philippe. You know that, don't you? You hold it in trust for the next generation. And let's see how many Patek Philippe owners will agree with that statement.
But we need to investigate because it's given to that office. So we need, I mean, it's okay, we are blaming Ravi because there's compelling evidence. But others, let's see how many.
And it's nothing personal. We must make that point.
Yeah, like Harsha asked that they to put the hands up people who haven't given bribes. We can ask these ministers, I mean, how many gifts they have got, how many houses they have got.
Now talking about houses. Now, do you know, we were told that these Bondgate people, they apparently they've bought 2 houses, or they've entered into agreements for another 2 houses. Both of them are in government. And I'm itching to say it out, I can't because I need the document. But one of them is just off Inner Flower Road. Just off Inner Flower Road. And it's near the house of a very senior member of the judiciary. Right? Now I'm getting closer now. Now it's actually not far from where you live, Manula.
So let's check on that.
Yeah, we'll check on that. It's a young little pup of a politician who's, I'm not saying anymore. We're going to find out.
Let's investigate on it because people should be aware of it. Let's see what happens.
And it was the same scenario, like the penthouse.
And also, is
The tenants liked it so much.
Faraz,
they
correct me if
bought
I'm
it.
wrong, is Ravi going to be the fall guy? What about this, the bond gate which you have explained?
Yeah.
There were other ministers who went to the floor
Yeah.
during of
That's
the
right.
central bank.
Yeah.
I mean, your friend Malik Samaravikrama,
Yes.
right? And who
it's
else?
everyone's.
Yeah, so they all went there.
Yeah.
So what about,
But he had
what
no
about
standing.
Yeah, what about,
I went to a certain medical practitioner yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I've seen you on television." He said, "What's happening?" I said, "They're all a bunch of rogues." And he said, "Who are the rogues?" So I started off, and I said that, you know, all these people, they're acting so blasé about various things that in the end, I've got no choice but to say that they too are complicit in all these matters. And he wouldn't agree. He was obviously, you know, when he took a blood test, I said, "Could you do that on your finger too?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "Not to check your blood sugar, I just want to check the color. Because obviously you're, you know, green to the end." But you have to be realistic. Mr. Kamil Hashim should have said, really, his statement should have said, "Look, we are all for good governance, and it's up to Ravi Karunaika to clear his name. He should step aside to clear his name." As citizen of Sri Lanka, Bandhu Jayasekara, you tell me, should he resign or should he step aside?
see, when the Norwegian ambassador came on our program for us,
Yeah.
he said in Norway, if there any accusation, if there
Yeah.
any inquiry,
Yeah,
the politicians or the officials first resign
right.
until the inquiry is over.
Yeah,
Then if they are proven guilty, they get punished.
Yeah.
If not,
they come
I mean,
back.
they come back. It doesn't happen in this country. This is good governance. This is good governance.
This is politics in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and it's
What is,
dirty politics.
what is the impact, Bandhu? You've been around the country, you've seen these things, and you take notice of a lot more than the average man or woman. And what is the impact of the corruption that goes on rural development and on poverty alleviation? What is the impact? As you've been around, you've seen forgotten people.
I mean, but everything is like they cheat the people.
Yeah, so they don't have enough money
Yeah, and they
to put back in.
these
to help.
people are called honorable in quotes pickpockets.
Right,
This is what they do.
right.
People are disgusted. I mean, even in this case, they read the papers, they watch television.
Yeah.
People are disgusted. People have had enough. But we have no alternative.
But you know, even the youth are getting fed up.
You just have to check the social media.
That's right. That's right. But there's also a lot of yellow sort of journalism.
Yeah, that's true. But
well.
then people don't have a choice. People don't have a choice.
But what's going on? How do you think politically can this be sustained? Fuel, rail, buses, electricity. We're going back several steps backwards.
Yeah, but I mean, there has to be
Having spent billions of rupees to fix the power problem, none of these rascals are
there has
saying,
to be a leader, a proper leader, visible leader. So the person should take up. He should have said, "Okay, I'm not interested in parties. I'm not interested in
then
this.
what
I'm going to
should they
fix
do
it."
with this FCID? What are they doing? They've spent our money. They're sat there in Chatham Street.
No, last
what
2
should they
years,
do?
Last 2 years, lots of money has been spent. Lots of money has spent. Nothing has happened. So they should stop the blame game.
They
and
say,
start.
they say, look, 35 files have been sent to the Ages Department. We don't know what happened thereafter. But when you look at the Ages Department in action, in Bondgate, for example, it's brilliant. That chap, Mr. De Oliveira, quite a maverick. I don't know if you've seen him in action, but he's there, and he ain't going to let anyone get away with it if he can help it. And he says that. And if only we could have more people like that. If only we could. And then Mr. Kodagada, he's wonderful. He said it was imperative that Arjuna Mahendran handed over his communication devices forthwith. Imperative, forthwith. It conveyed the sense of urgency that Mr. Kodagada was trying to convey and
But Arjun
the
Aloysius forgets his password.
He doesn't forget it. He's arrogant,
Yeah,
and
but
he
he
doesn't
says-
and he doesn't care tuppence, or it so appears to me as a member of the public, when he's so arrogant as not to give his password. What does he think he is? Who does he think he is? He must comply with the law, and he must comply with what the Presidential Commission is telling him. They're not there for fun. They're here to get to the bottom of a very serious
So that's
problem.
you're correct. He has to respect, and now there should be action then against him.
Of
They
course.
should take action
But
against
we
him.
might have some politician come forward, like Mr. Kabir Hashim, making general statements to the public. What does he think? There are members of the United National Party who will be not very happy with their General Secretary's statement. What he ought to have said is that Mr. Karunayaka should, in the meantime, to spare so much of agony to party and to the government, should step aside and clear his name and then come along.
For us, unfortunately, it doesn't happen in Sri Lanka, but we must put pressure. We as the media, we could put pressure, and we should continue.
Yes.
And the people should stand up.
Yes. Today, do you want to know the real news today? The real news. Despite the Hambantota port sale, external vulnerability has jumped to a new high, says Moody's, very respected. Lithium battery pack explodes on a Sri Lankan flight to Kochi. Right? Ex-EPF chief says that Mahendran threatened him. For heaven's sake, he's the governor of the central bank. What's he doing threatening people? We don't know if it's true because this is only one side of the evidence, Pandala. Lest, legal director gets
But that's
in
what
trouble.
the media
But
is
that's what they
reporting.
say. Due to the drought, Wilpatu will be open for 5 hours a day only. That'll make Sajid unhappy. The latest assault in Jaffna led by an ex-tiger. Right? Nobody can form a new government, even with 113 seats in parliament, without my blessing, says the president. Well said. Well said. Because they're trying to usurp power.
But for us, he said that, she said that. That doesn't matter. Who cares? We want things to happen.
And the US ambassador to the United Nations says that the UN Human Rights Council is corrupt. Goodness me.
No, she said that 3 months ago also.
So, is it true then?
She said that. No, I mean, UN Human Rights Council, the way I see it, is very political. She has said this over and over. So did President Trump.
But in all this, in this sea of corruption, in these turbulent waters, there is one thing that stands out. Rock solid. The Auditor General. God bless him, because, he's there. And long may he live, long may he continue, because he isn't letting anyone get under his microscope. And he, actually, Pandana, do you think he'll make a good presidential candidate or a prime minister?
No, I don't think we should spoil these officials by pushing them to get into
True,
politics.
true, I think.
They should be there because they are the ones
But
who
we
can do
need
the
them.
balance and checks. They can checkmate these people. So we need good officials in these places.
That's true. That's true.
If they all become politicians, they'll have to raise funds, they'll be corrupt, there'll be problems.
But do you find it frustrating? Does your pressure go up when you read and hear and see on the news all these things that are going on? Do you think your sugar levels are...
Definitely.
Your
No, I think everybody is going to. So we need answers, we need solutions.
Yeah.
I think people have had enough of this. But these people have no shame. I feel even religious leaders should stop meeting politicians.
Yeah.
Stop giving them audience.
Yeah.
This is what they should do. And
Tell
say,
them.
okay, don't come to me. Because they use these religious leaders.
Correct.
They take photographs and they use it.
Yeah.
So they should stand up now.
And the people should stand up.
Yeah, they should. And then, not to be used.
How can the people send them packing?
No, keep on putting pressure. You don't have to wait for the next 5 years. Keep on asking them.
But that minister, what's his name? Faizi Mustafa, he's not having elections. Mahinda Desha isn't he isn't the happy bunny.
But I think Faiz is helpless.
Really?
I mean, he has to defend his master's voice, right? So he has so I think he's helpless. As a cabinet minister, he's helpless. I mean, I don't think it's he who decides this.
So, shall we be frank? What's the problem? Why aren't they having election?
No, they should. I'm sure they're scared to have
Of what?
elections. You know, to
Of
let's
what?
say, because the government is not popular,
Yeah.
right? It's 2 years
Yeah.
popular, so they should test their strength. Let the people decide.
How come the Daily News is reporting so accurately all the happenings at the Bond?
So that's good.
You're the former editor.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a honeymoon period
Yeah.
of any editor, any government.
Yeah.
And Lalit is a good journalist,
Yeah.
the editor of the Daily News.
But I think there's no interference now.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
the new
which is
ministers,
good.
New ministers letting him get on with it.
But I would say the first 2 to 3 years, it's always a good honeymoon period for
Yeah.
us. After that, only things happen.
What do you think should be done? Do you think that, I'm asking you as citizen of Sri Lanka, do you think Ravi Karunanayake, MP, should go to the Presidential Commission as Ravi Karunanayake, Foreign Minister, Member of Parliament, part owner of the United National Party? Is that how he should go, or he should just go as MP?
He should go as MP, Ravi Karunanayake.
Wouldn't that then be an admission of his guilt?
No, that's good. I mean, of course, when there's compilation, let's see what he has to say.
Yeah.
But he should stand up because people are watching.
Tomorrow is
Tomorrow he should go, and you know, everybody has say. He can say what he got to say.
Anyone can go, by the way. Did you know that? It's not only the media. Members of the public can go there. You produce your national ID card at the gate, and you'll be signing in next to greats like, you know, Mr. Mahendran comes there. God knows what he's got in that bag.
We are going there tomorrow for us.
Indeed. We're going to be there. We want to see. We want to hear it first, don't we? Because after all, we are News First. This is all News First production. But, Bandula, if we do a quick corruption checklist, we've had the highway matter, then we had, you know, the outer circular, all that business.
ICTA.
ICTA. Volkswagen, for heaven's sake. Then we had some other fancy scheme, World Capital Centre,
Google balloons.
Tallest building, a deflated Google balloons, where the minister said that that company hadn't even started business. Absolute poppycock. Because our reporter, Chaturanga Hapwarachi, produced a document which he had on the side of his chair, and he did that, and he said, "This is the company's house document." And you know how spectacularly misinformed or underinformed the minister was.
For us, what has happened is, okay, they came to power saying that, okay, we are going to change the system, we are going to be clean. It hasn't happened. They have let down the people, the masses. So somebody should take over from here. That, I mean, the president, but you know, he also has, he should stop giving, and we are happy that he appointed this presidential commission, but people can't wait. Every day is a new day, and 2 years have passed. Somebody should take control.
The clock's ticking along, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because you should be able to make decisions, right or wrong, in the interest of the people. It's not happening.
It's not happening. But next week, you and I are going to Haputale, aren't we? Kotmale. And we hope to bring you all sorts of things from there. And we can take we can offer our viewers a different perspective of our wonderful, beautiful country. Do you know, what's the biggest thing as you come into land? Katunayake. Early morning, those swaying palm trees, the mist, the little kupilampas are flickering away. You know you've arrived home, don't you?
Yeah, but I didn't know that you could be so creative for us. I thought you only
the bond.
not the bond.
Our country is so beautiful. It's absolutely an amazing place. The people really are friendly.
And people are not making it beautiful. They make it worse.
Worse, yes.
We are as one of these corrupt countries.
Yeah. Did you see that whale that was captured somewhere, I don't know, wherever? And when they did a post-mortem, it was full of plastic bags. It did literally starve to death, really. And so
now we are known more than for we are known as the penthouse country.
Penthouse. Is it a good idea for all ministers to get their rents, their accommodation and transport, you've got to remember the transport, and their petty cash, by contractors who work with their ministries? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, good idea. I'm sure they'll enjoy it. They'll have more money, more cars.
And when you have a penthouse and a home, why do you need whistle fire?
You got to ask that gentleman.
It's a waste of resources, isn't it?
And what about the chief of staff?
250,000.
A government secretary gets 60,000. It's what the president told them. 60,000 rupees.
So even though the general public are not fully aware, there's a huge party going on, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely at your expenses and my expenses.
Indeed. Isn't it sad?
And what about those forgotten people for us? They don't have water, they don't have the basics. But this is what is happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, our fellow citizens of Sri Lanka, think anti-corruption. Bandhan Jayasekara, thank you very much for being on Newsline. I've enjoyed your company. It's a beautiful country. Let's keep it beautiful. Join this movement. Fight corruption. That's it from Newsline. Take care and God bless.
The den of thieves. Let's send them packing. A Sri Lanka that stands against corruption. Join the national movement from the 1st of August.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukut Ali.